my big brother. Season 25, episode recap. We are recapping live eviction from week 4 and week 5, HOH and Veto. We are pretty much back on track. Tonight is the next live eviction for week 5, and we will be getting a new HOH. And joining me today is Janelle. As always, Janelle, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to talk about all this. I'm extra excited for the episode tonight. It is going to be an interesting evening, that's for sure.
Yes, I feel like at this point, this is going like this after this week, things are gonna like really ramp up.
Yeah, and it's already been ramped. Like, I don't know where it's going exactly, but yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. And so we'll discuss that a little closer to the after the video episode we discussed. But I am excited and also kind of nervous, like who is going to be HOH, because I do think that's going to determine how we go forward. I do think that possibly next week is a double episode.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if it's a double episode because they can't play the HOH episode on Monday, on Sunday, and they're doing HOH and Veto on Wednesday, and then live eviction on Thursday, or if it's going to be a double episode because we're going to get another twist tonight for next
Oh,
week.
don't say
I've been hearing potentially a split house again. Which how many
that.
after
Are we
the
going to be
eviction
down
tonight?
to?
How many people we down to? So
Um,
Mimi, Jag,
12?
what? Mimi, Jag, Felicia, Red, Cameron, Jared, Blue,
12.
Matt, Sari, and
It's 12.
it's
Felicia,
12.
yeah, Felicia, Bowie, Mimi, Cameron. Hey, Glenda. America, Blue, Sari, Corey, Izzy, Matt, Jared, and Red. Did I say everybody? And Jag. I think it's going to be 12 tonight, so 6 and 6 it would have to be.
So that would ripe us up for a split house, guys. And if that happens tonight, whoo, baby, we know last year that split house really kind of changed the game. Um, yeah.
I, uh, I hope if they do it, they like the room that they did the competition in for the power. Like I hope they put them or the very first HOH that Riley won, where they were down in that big space. I hope they do something like that as opposed to sticking people outside. I
Right.
really, really do.
Or I mean, guys, everything shut down. They have the Netherverse. They have Nether region. They have the entire CBS lot. Put them somewhere proper. Do not
Yes,
put them in the backyard again.
right. Because we couldn't hear the planes, the shower, the like. It was just terrible. It was just absolutely terrible. And then we don't
In
have to worry about
fact,
wall yellers.
don't give anybody the house. Move them all somewhere else. Two different, like, you know those two house facades that we saw at
Yeah,
the Nether region. Put two separate houses.
yeah. I hope they don't do it. I don't know. I don't. It would be interesting because depending on how the groups break down, somebody can make a big move because Sari is not gonna put everybody's her minion, but she might not get stuck with all of her real strong minions. She might get stuck with people who are willing to do something and get rid of a big player. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. I mean, I would rather it. 6 and 6 is not bad
Right.
because it's better than 5 and 5 last year. It was just so hard. It was hard to watch. but you'll have the HOH, and then you would have 5 people to target.
Right. Yeah.
Um, you could definitely make some moves that way.
Yeah.
So while I do not advocate for a split house because, eh,
Hmm.
um, if they do it now, I think it's better than doing it in the next week.
Yeah. Because once they did it, Indy was already gone, and Joseph was the second. Joseph and Jasmine were the second and third members of the jury. Our jury hasn't started yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is not even. I don't think this is even determining. This wouldn't determine jury, would it?
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Whoever this is, I believe, is going home. So
Yeah. So I'm not sure because then on the other hand, you're getting rid of 2 people, and we're still in a 100-day game.
yeah.
So somebody had said online, and I can't remember who, said maybe. Remember last year they were supposed to have the backstage people like fight it out,
Yeah.
and then one person would come in.
Yes.
Uh, so maybe it's something similar like that. Um, yeah. Glenda says, you think this is the last person before jury? Depends on the number they're using for jury, right? I mean, 100-day game. I don't know.
What was it last year? 9?
9,
Was it 9? Taylor won. Yes, Taylor won 8-1.
8 to 1.
Yes, it's 9.
Yep.
Yes. So 9 people. So how many? 12 after tonight? Mm, tonight or next week? Well, yeah, tonight.
Nine, nine, and then 2. Then the final 2. So um,
So that leaves.
that's 11. So
Yeah.
yes, that would be the last person before jury.
Yes. So maybe next week, Glenda, we'll see if they do everything like they usually do. I would guess that next week would be the first member of the jury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless they have somebody said a jury buyback.
Yeah, but they still go to jury. You know what I mean? Like they go to jury and then they battle and then somebody comes back.
So we will see. But let's get started chit chatting about this episode, and we could talk more about that. But we start off with the live eviction episode last week, which at this point last week, we were under the impression Jag was going. And the reason we were under this impression is because the BB gods had presented that this twist was coming. We
Mhm.
had voted on the twist, and it would impact the game. They told them not how it would impact the game, but that it would impact the game, and that they each would go and find out who had actually won the power or won to compete the power behind the scenes going to the DR. So we watched them on, what was it, Monday, one
Yeah.
by one, getting pulled to go in for the power. And we did find out like the next day who won the power on feeds.
Right.
Um, and so here, the live eviction is mostly about this BB power of invincibility. So if you were watching the feeds, it's like we already knew
Yeah.
most of this. It was like really good to find out some of the people's thought process, though, and then what they decided to do with the actual power was also interesting. Uh, so they do present that we voted for who won the BB power of invincibility.
Hmm.
And they do go through some of the stuff from the week. Cameron thinks that for Legends 25, which he thinks is a real alliance, Jag going works. Um, Jag, on the other hand, hates that he's on the block with Blue, who's his final 2, and one of his best friends in the house. Um, Izzy, though, makes it clear that Legends 25 is fake as hell and basically is only there to shelter them from the wrath of Cameron.
Right.
And so Cameron, behind the scenes is going to Blue and telling her, listen, Jack's the target. You're good. Don't worry.
Yep.
Um, But this is still hard for Blue. He's very close to Jag. What were your thoughts on all of this?
I thought it was stupid. Well, I understand from Matt's perspective why he would want to save Jag. He was an idiot for telling Suri.
Hmm.
Nobody can keep anything away from that woman. But from his
Hmm.
perspective, I get it. He was an ally, he was a friend, he did not want to see him go home, and he had been working to save him. But yet, still, he had no idea what was going to happen this week or whether or not that power would have been more beneficial this week. So I see pros and cons to using it. Um, I see why Sari would have wanted it used. Jared was an idiot. Well, we didn't get there, but Jared was an absolute idiot for saying something to Jag. So I understand why Matt would want to use it, but it worked out for him, I guess. Because if Jag would have gone home this week, like it really would have been a waste. But it really brought him in closer to him. So
Right. So Jack does ITM. He trusts Sari. He trusts Izzy in the Seven Deadly Alliance. And he does talk to them about the fact that he knows he's the target. But how can they get out of it? Sari makes it clear they want him out. They want everybody to vote for him.
mm-hmm.
Um, he says, though, what we had basically been saying, that in order for him to save his week, he needed to throw Sari and Izzy and them under the bus.
Yeah, Jag.
And
Right?
yes, and he refused to.
I don't know what is in Jag's head. Most of this game, he had all the ammunition to save himself from the block. Didn't hardly fight to stay off the block. Like
Mhm.
he had all the ammunition. Game wise, Jag has been disappointing strategically. What he's doing, what he's saying, who he's telling, has all just been a little bit disappointing. A lot of it disappointing.
A lot disappointed.
And I could think of a whole bunch of other people I'd rather see saved over Jag, but it is what it is.
Yeah, he he refuses to throw them under the bus, but Serene says uh to Matt and Izzy they have the votes if they do want to keep him, but they need Jared in order to keep him. And so they want to keep Jag because they don't trust Cameron and Red, which to me, fair. Like they shouldn't trust. Maybe Red, I can understand them
Yeah.
trusting,
Mhm.
but they should not trust Cameron. I would not trust Cameron whatsoever in
They
this
could
game.
have they could have gone. I mean, they could have gone and asked America to vote with them. Like I feel like they could have got the votes if they would have gone outside of who they were speaking to. Why did they?
Everybody on feeds that week were saying they wanted to keep Jag,
Right,
except
like
for
Jared.
who? Jared. Oh, Corey. Corey. It was Corey.
Yeah. So and I don't think that Cameron really minded did he?
I mean, against who was that? Blue?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted Jag to stay
Yeah.
at one point.
Yeah, I just remember them up in like Suri and them doing all this work, but then I saw Ren and Cameron talk about they really didn't care between the two. Like they weren't hardcore one way or the other. So they were doing all that, stressing all that when they really could have easily got the numbers. And Cameron wouldn't have even been that upset. So it was just a whole big debacle show or whatever they were doing. It wasn't even necessary. They could have gotten the votes, but they were trying to be so hush hush about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sari approaches Jared, which they really didn't show the entire thing because the entire thing was that they all sat down. I mean, everybody in sat down and discussed that they wanted to vote Blue out,
Mm-hmm.
and that they wanted to tell Jared he had to vote Blue out, but not tell him now. Tell him Thursday or Wednesday, and that he had to vote with them, his showmates.
Mm-hmm.
Now, regardless of what I think about Blue and Jared's showmance, for a myriad of reasons, I think that if you are just at the face of it thinking they're showmance, this is the dumbest idea I think I've ever seen.
to get him to vote her out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that Sari obviously didn't think he would try to hold on to her as tight as he is. I
Hmm.
don't know if it's good or bad that Blue's still in the game for Jared. I honestly don't, because she knows too much, but
Hmm.
she's goofy enough to keep it to herself until she's not ready to keep it to herself. You know what I mean? I don't. But don't nobody know that. Don't nobody know that she knows, but Jared.
Right.
I literally cannot believe that she's keeping this to herself. Like I really
Mhm.
cannot. She could flip the game upside down, and she just chooses not to. None of these players. I don't know how I would handle it. She's probably scared to blow it up because all these
Right.
people will be after her, but not necessarily if they're going to be after this duo. I
Right.
don't know. I don't know what I would do because I think that there are positives to working with duos because you know that's 2 votes your way, and
Yeah.
then but you can't go too far. So
So she does approach Jared and they want him to vote against her. And he refuses. He's like, no, she's my number two. And the fact that they wanted to approach me later uh basically has him losing trust in his alliance. And he does ITM what a lot of us were wondering, which I think is also good information in watching how Jared is playing, especially something like he sat there and told Blue his secret about his mom,
mhm.
right? He says he won't play his mother's game. He wants to create his own way in this game, and he also wants to be a great player in his own right. So here we have it. Jared is okay with throwing out his mother for his own game.
Well, I didn't think he would want to throw her out, but he's basically saying, I'm not going to listen to every single thing you tell me to do. I'm not just going to vote Blue out because that's the direction that you want to go in. Now, I get it, but he's not making the legacy he thinks he's making.
Hmm.
Not he's not as good as he thinks he is. He has
Oh,
horrible,
definitely.
horrible, in my opinion, communication skills. Um,
Absolutely.
Not to be funny, I just think he's not going to be a threat in some of these quizzes and some of these end game quizzes. I do not fear that Jared is going to run away with any of those competitions. He struggled with Golden, so
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. Um, he just needs to shut up and follow her lead, in my opinion. He needs to follow her lead. And it cracked me up when he was so upset that they didn't say anything. He spent that whole week up under Blue. You weren't in conversations because you were with Blue that
Yeah.
whole week.
Glenda said I would put a bug in someone like Corey's ear, and I would mention how Jared and Sari look alike. And she still understands that it's Sari, because I still have doubts.
I Yeah,
Um,
and
I,
his dumb
and
self, his Jared just said something to Corey. Like he was too busy trying to one up Corey, and he said something about being on another show when he was 18. Like Jared, hush, hush, hush. He
my,
just Tamika, he just needs to follow her lead. Be quiet and
I
just
don't,
do what she says.
I don't even think that he needs to follow her lead,
I do.
because to me, there's been times where Sari wants to do other things, and I like Jared had to talk her off the ledge. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. That being said, I have problems with Jared personally.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Personal
We all
behavior.
do.
Yes. But on a game standpoint, he absolutely could win this game because his mother has basically created a shell for him to win this game.
Mm.
On the other hand, do I think he has the powers to win this game? No, not on his own. He has horrible reads, like you said. He doesn't know when to like there's a stopping point. Like, and I think even Blue said it to him in the HOH. He's just like Heisem. Like,
Mm.
scale it back. Like, you're saying one thing too many to the wrong people.
And I also think that the longer Jared is in the game, uh, the more his communication skills are gonna, like, just the way he talked to America, the reasoning behind wanting to put up America was idiotic. Like, because she's throwing comps and she's not trying to win. What did you win? America beat him in the initial comp where he was last. Didn't she win? She came in like first, smoked him. Stayed in. She's been closed in almost every single comp. She was 14 hours. Nobody's throwing the pressure cooker if they stood there for 14 hours. You threw it as soon as the lights came on, Jared. Couldn't spell golden. He won this comp because his mom, they threw it. Izzy messed up. Jared won because Izzy messed up, not because Jared got it right. So I don't, like, when he was saying that to her, I was like, you have got to be kidding me, Jared. And the logic behind it, she's throwing comps. I can't have. I just could foresee his reasoning and his attitude and how he speaks to people.
I mean, the reasoning was just a shell to have a reason. He doesn't like America, like, period. He just
Yeah.
doesn't like her. Which, again, we've had this conversation. You could not like people in this game. He just needed a reason to say something, but it's a dumb reason.
Well, to say it, you have a good reason.
Right, but that's why we'll discuss it later. She's able to actually talk him out of it because the reasoning is dumb, right? Like, and if I can sit here and talk around, I mean, first of all, it's easy to talk circles around Jared. If I could talk around your dumbass reason of putting me up and shut it down, I there's nothing else unless you sit there and on the spot come up with another reason, which he can't do. He doesn't have that ability. Like, we've seen other players be able to, like, just, well, you also did this and you also did that. Like, you can see other players being able to, like, be with it on the spot to do something like that. He does not have it in him.
Yeah, he's.
Ultimately, he also still could be the winner of this game.
Mm, I think it depends on who he sits next to.
True,
Because
and it also depends if there's a bitter jury because they find out that Suri was his mother the entire time. And I mean, he won this HOH by losing, which can be pointed out, but at the end of the day, he still did win an HOH. And for some people that it's a big thing.
it is what it is.
But
I think people like Corey would be like, yeah, because his mother brought him. You know what I mean? I feel like there are going to naturally be people who are going to recognize that the strength in Jared's game is his mother, not Jared.
yeah.
Like, strategically, what has he done? Socially, I mean, he was going back and forth, but now, okay, I'm sorry, we're just off on a whole tangent. Let's get on the episode. We'll never get to the end, but I hope that's not the case.
So, yes, a message is transmitted from the comic verse about the superpower, tells them about us voting. Top four is going to compete to win the power, and then they will each go in one by one. Jag is excited. Cameron is pissed because it could mess up his HOH because, again, they didn't explain how it would get there. So the top four, Suri, Corey, Jag, and Matt. Were you shocked at the top four?
No, not in the least bit.
Me neither.
Facebook people love Matt, love his story. That first week when he cried over Riley, that did him in. People love America and Corey.
Right.
Cute little showman, cutie woody, all that stuff. Suri is Suri. I lie. I was surprised about Jag.
Oh, I wasn't surprised about that.
I was, because I don't necessarily see the love for him expressed on social media. Twitter world, we see criticisms of his game. Facebook, I don't really see it. So I was surprised by that. I take it back.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised by Jag. He was on the block. He had been on the block before, and he keeps being a target. He has had a lot of screen time compared to a lot of other people, like people we like on feeds, like Mimi and even Izzy. He has had more screen time if you think about it, and he has also kept making a way. And even if you're not a feeder and you hear as a casual, oh, they might vote up Jag because you're like, damn, maybe I should vote for Jag, right? So I do think that made a lot of sense. I did
Natalie,
hope that he would pull it out, though.
Natalie said she wished that Sari had only come on the season by herself. Yeah, I mean, while I don't personally care for maybe Jared's personality, some of the things that he says, nor how he plays the game, um, in those couple of beginning weeks when things were being established, they were able to plan against it and play against it because they had the ability to play both sides, right? They had a spy
Mhm.
in Jared, bringing
Mhm.
them back all the information. Now, I think it's very likely that Sari got into a similar position without Jared, right?
He
But,
absolutely would have. Absolutely would have.
but
First of all, I think if you think about it, right? Suri is Suri. If you watch Traders, like I need people because I noticed that people are downplaying Suri, and her son aside,
mhm,
like which we should not be putting on her son's actions. He's 25 years old. He also had another parent that raised him. Now, her son aside, Suri is an amazing player. I did not see Snake in the Grass, but even then, people were like,
I did,
how
yeah,
well she played in that game. But her ability to get people to just believe in her.
yeah, it's
Like,
ridiculous.
she did not need Jared to be the go between Riley and her, between Izzy and her. She had Riley eating out the palm of her hands.
Yeah,
She had Izzy eating out of the palm of her hands. If Izzy did not know that secret, like she said, I would have just been playing this game with Izzy anyway. She might
yeah,
have been annoyed with Izzy every now and then, but I think she would have absolutely kept playing with Izzy, period. Right?
yeah. And she just could have had less fear as far as if she did decide to cut her and be less repercussions. Glenda
Right.
says that she wants Jared out of the house, but she would love for Sari to win, but fears she'll throw away her game for him. I believe that she absolutely will. If it comes down to her or her kid, she's going to
Mhm.
do what she needs to do to save him because she feels like she's already had her shot. She wants to allow him to have his. I get it from a mom's perspective. Don't do that though, Sari. do not, do not do. Because I don't know. Depending on how early that was, I could see him following her. So and it would be all for
So
nothing.
yeah, so initially he did say that he would always go before her. I
Yeah.
do think in playing the game, she's expressed a number of times that how hard this game is for her. I do think in that she's also his mother. B not seeing a lot of the things that we're seeing right on the outside looking in, like how badly he's playing on some things. I do think she thinks that he's playing a really good individualized game that
Yeah.
he deserves to just go on and carry her name. I don't agree, right? But sh again, perception inside the game is not perception outside the game.
Right. She only has what the view she has, you know?
Right. So, yeah, so at this point, um, we will see what's gonna happen with that. But yeah, I just Jared is not it. So the comp is that one from BB23 with like they had the margarita glass where you put the ball on like a sloping moving table and you have to get it into the like
The
I
cup
think
of
this one it was like
a
a
cup. It was a
uh,
cup.
uh no,
They
it's a
call it.
chalice. I think it was a chalice. I think it was
Yeah.
like and so the four get to play, and it is a time challenge. So you like hit a button, do the table thing, and then hit the button to finish. And when it's all said and done, Matt does win this power of invincibility, which we did find out on feeds because he did go and tell Suri they had been cutting the feeds all that 2 days to try to like block it, and of course
Mhm.
because if you watch Terrence updates, he does mention how because they were blocking a lot of the stuff that was happening between America and Cameron, which I'm going to discuss at some point. Corey, who had the closest time to him, 53 seconds was Corey's time. Matt won it with 45 seconds. So were you shocked at Matt winning?
No,
Yeah, not
super
me.
close. I
Yeah,
expected, I expected um, it to either be Corey or Matt.
yeah,
That's what I was guessing.
yeah, same. And I was wishing that Jag was in there, but I think he was just being too tentative. Like he really wanted it, and he was being too like, trying to really get it because he was over a minute. Like, um, it was sad. And so Matt does tell Sari he wants to save Jag, and that he wants to figure out how they can do that. And they talk, and their talk basically gives Sari this thing that, listen, I love that Matt came to talk. For Sari, loyalty is everything. If you come and give her everything,
Trust
it,
you.
she trusts you. And so he's like, she would bring Jag to, and she counts her final three. She's like, Jared, Izzy. And that's how I know that she does, regardless of what we will see, because we will see her arguing about Izzy, we'll see her fighting about Izzy. She does trust, because we see it on the feeds right now. She's been like throwing Felicia on the bus when she found out Felicia was talking about her and didn't trust her anymore. And if she wanted to, she could do the same thing with Izzy. And I don't think Izzy would tell her secret. I just don't see it right
Oh,
now. If I saw it happening, I was like, yes, Izzy. I'm not saying. And so they agreed to use it to save Jag because everybody's going to vote out Jag. At this point, Izzy and Sari had basically decided that Jag could not be flipped out because they didn't know what the invincibility power would do. So they had put the vote back on Jag. Everybody was going to vote Jag out unanimously, and then they were going to blame it on Corey in America, and then basically keep it moving and then see how the power came out. But Matt and Sari decide to go ahead, use it on Jag, cancel Cameron's HOH for the entire week. The only issue is we find out that Cameron does get to play HOH again. But Matt and Sari both feel like this will absolutely buy Jag's loyalty. No one else will know that they used it on Jag, and they will think that he used it on himself. And so we do have the live eviction. I will not go through it because again, he is voted out unanimously. Everybody hugs him, and as he's walking through the door, and it's so funny because Sari goes to the door like she's gonna open it. And then the comic verse sends a transmission that the BB power of invincibility has been used to save him, and that he is safe and can't be evicted for this week. And Cameron can play HOH again.
really quick.
Blue,
I,
yeah.
I was wondering, like, because Jag genuinely looked emotional, his face hung. I'm wondering if, because we didn't know, I saw people online saying, oh, Matt didn't do it. Like, he went and voted him out. He didn't play the power. So people were thinking that Jag really was about to go, especially Julie announcing the votes, everybody hugging. I did too. I was like, dang, he didn't use it. So I'm wondering if, like, Matt knew that all that was going to play out like that, and then they would tell Jag. You know what I mean? Or if Sari knew, or even if Jag knew, like, was Jag thinking, dang, Matt played me, I'm going home. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
Like, that's
mhm.
what
Yeah,
I'm
I'm not sure because we'll get it in the HOH comp.
wondering.
So Blue and America are in tears. They're both hugging Jag. Um Jag kisses the paper transmission. Jared seems kind of pissed off. And did you notice that Jared looked pissed off?
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Okay. So I was sitting there like, oh, so maybe they didn't tell Jared. Maybe that's why he's pissed off. And then something said to me, I said, I'm looking at Blue like devastated tears fall. I said, I hope this mofo is not upset that Blue is this upset about Jag. We will keep going. So next we have the HOH comp on Sunday,
Oh,
and
this is my favorite kind of HOH comps
no,
because
not
it's
quiz.
so telling. I love, love, love it because it gives people who might need to wake up a little wake
Mhm.
up call. But go ahead.
Um, but before we get there,
Hmm.
we start where we ended, which is that Jack gets voted out unanimously, but he is saved by Matt, Suri, and the BB Gods. And Jack immediately starts interrogations on why the eviction votes were unanimous.
It don't matter, Jag. You're here. Let's go play. Like I mean, part of me is like, oh, he wants to know who he could trust. Maybe I don't know. He just did way, way, way too much, and it started here. And when we see more of it later, but I was just like, Jack, it does not matter. You are
Yeah.
here. Go play your HOH. Blah 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 blah. Stop, stop, Jack.
Like the feeds had cut and were off for 2 hours.
Mhm.
And we were like, oh my God, this comp is taking forever. What's going on? Blah, 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 blah. The feeds came back and we saw the interrogations.
Yeah.
We saw them. So it was like, oh my God, like what happened? Like, why is he doing this? But we see here, no, the interrogation started when the feeds were down before they even went in to the comp.
Yeah.
And this is because 5 hours before, Matt had told Jag he won the power and he was going to save him, and that Suri and he had planned on saving him. They were the only ones who knew, and they were going to use it to save it, make Cameron and Red upset, and nullify Cameron's week of HOH. And so I think good play
Yeah.
on both of them. The problem is Suri has a son in the house.
Yeah. And here he comes. Here comes Jared.
And this is what we were talking about earlier. Jared runs his mouth too much. Like, there was no reason for him to do what he's about to do.
And that's my thing. I could see if there were some sort of upside to this. But all it did was sow more seeds of distrust. Like I'm like, what was the purpose? What is the end goal in mentioning that you know a secret that you're not supposed to know?
I
I
don't know.
He's dumb. I'm sorry. He's I don't like how he plays the game.
He's not a good game player.
I don't know what I just don't know what he's thinking.
And
Like
I will be very honest. I have already said I probably could not pay a Big Brother for a number of reasons. One, I'm highly antisocial. Two, I am highly analytical. And so I keep a lot, like Janelle will tell you, there's a lot of stuff I know and I will hold it forever. There's so many things I know about people and I don't tell nobody nothing. So I'm the total opposite. I don't care if it's going to help me. I will sit there and people will be like, I didn't know you knew that. Oh, well, yeah. Was I supposed to tell somebody? Especially if it's given to me in confidence, I'm not going to say it. And so for me to see this, to me, it's sloppy as hell. It
Oh,
is
he's so
sloppy
smart.
as hell that your mother gave you insider trading. And instead of you being like, yes, okay, we're going to roll with this,
Hmm.
you sit there and be like, Jag, guess what? We might have found a way for you and Blue to stay. I'm sorry. How do you know this?
Yes, he does
And
not.
why do you know this?
I was just like, you've got to be kidding me, Jared. Because, like I said, there's just no, I could see if I could understand like the game reason. And then also, I really, really do not appreciate how he confronted Jag about it.
Oh,
He was
it was
so
terrible.
like, I'm like, why are you speaking to him like that? He don't owe you nothing. You're the dumb one that told him.
Because okay, so we're gonna skip a little bit, but Sari had told Jared about this like way before.
Right.
Like, so when they were going back and forth, I think it's when we saw pieces of it and they had like opened the pieces and they cut it back. And
Yeah.
so um he goes then and tells Jag before eviction that there's a way for them both to stay. And Jag wants to know why he knows this. So Jag confronts Sari and she's pissed because again, Sari's game is trust and loyalty. And you just took a piece away from her
Mm-hmm.
that he now could potentially not trust her, and she's keeping him in the game. The point of her telling him was for him to come closer to her and trust her.
And
And you
Jared blew
don't
it up.
took it away. You blew.
Jared blew it up. Yeah. He's just Glenda, I see you, girl. I know. I just it's Jared. It is what it
Yeah.
is.
So she is pissed at Jared and confronts him. If I tell you information, it's one thing for because even when he was going between two what do you call it, alliances, and telling his mother stuff, she never went to Riley and be like, well, Jared said.
Right.
He would
Never.
ask leading question. Well, what do you think you're going to do? What do you want to do? How is this supposed to work? And get to the fact that, oh, I could see that. Yeah, that could definitely happen. That works for me. She would never sit there and be like, I know this information.
Right. Because she would understand that she only had that knowledge because of Jared. And giving up that knowledge in turn gives up Jared and blows up his spot. Jared ain't think that way through. I just
So she confronts Jared and tells him just that, like, when I give you information, you can't just open your mouth and tell it. This is like an hour 15 before the the live eviction. And
yeah.
so then he, instead of holding it and just be like, shit, I messed up, he's like, oh no, this just made me look bad to my mother. And he goes and confronts Jag, because he's basically in hot water with his mom from running his mouth, which
But
with him is easy.
but like my thing is, okay, you go say something to Jag, now what? It doesn't make any difference. You already told him. You're not fixing nothing.
No,
You know what I mean? Like
no.
I just
And the fact that he got so upset even more made it suspicious, because Jag basically is like, I think Sari told Jared. I'm not sure why she told Jared, but now I can't fully trust her. It was
right.
dumb.
It was so dumb. And he was hyped. I'm like, Jared, bro, are you lying to me, bro? Don't lie to me, bro. Don't lie to I can lie to who. It's just the way he speaks. It's that's not conducive to getting people on your side, to wanting to work with you. And like I said, my perception is he's only getting worse in that regard. Like
He is.
Corey later says, I don't know if I can work with this guy to the end of the game because he's unreasonable. His
He's
logic is lacking. His logic is seriously, seriously lacking. And I try to be kind as I possibly can, but I bet you he scored lowest on that cast in that IQ test that they do. And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not. I just don't think that man has it.
But do you know what the thing is? There's. I'm gonna say this. I'm not even sure. Although he couldn't spell golden, but we move. I will say I'm not a good speller either.
Me neither.
I don't spell well, so I will never judge anybody on that. But I feel like I have a certain amount of intelligence, but I also feel like I also have a certain amount of social intelligence, right? Social intelligence is like knowing when to speak, knowing when to shut up, knowing when to bring people closer to you, when to back off of people, when to get rid of people. Like, if you don't know those things, and I feel like that is where he sorely lacks. He can't relate to people. He doesn't know how to treat people. He doesn't know how to talk and communicate with people. He doesn't know how to handle people. He has the worst sense of verbiage when talking to people, as we find out, because he says a nasty ass word on the feeds to in regards to America that should not have been said.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care if other people have said it. We know that other people have said it also off feeds,
Yeah.
and they have not gotten kicked out of that about it. And so people up in arms about it, I agree. We should be up in arms. He shouldn't have said it. There was no reason. Like, use better vocabulary.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Especially since what he, like you said, the reasoning that he was using it for was silly, was not even making sense.
Yeah.
And so, even just the way that he talks to Blue, which I do feel like Blue kind of holds her own with him in a lot of respects, she will push back and she will say, "You talk to me like this, I don't like it. Don't do this, don't do that." And he takes it a little bit, but then when she does that, like we heard a conversation from him yesterday where he tells Blue she's like too independent and too confident, and that scares him. And it's like, it's those things that we see a lot of times with men who are insecure, like Jared, and I'm going to say he is insecure,
Mm-hmm.
that they do this. They draw themselves to confident, smart, bright women. Now, I have problems with how Blue is playing this game, but I do feel like in a lot of respects, like outside of the game, I think she would be a very smart and bright person if you had a conversation with her.
Yeah,
But
she's.
that stuff scares the crap out of him. And so he gets like, "Oh, I can't handle this." But that's what's bringing you to her. Like, stop it.
Yeah, I think Blue. At times, I've seen her push back on things he said or things he said to her, or tell him she doesn't like what he said. So it's within her. I don't. And I've also seen her say he's had some red flags, but they are fixable, something along those lines.
They
So,
ain't fixable, girl.
huh?
They ain't fixable. I'm sorry. I mean, okay, I've said this to you before. I'm never going to throw away a 25-year-old and say it's not possible that they can't turn, but you got to want to. You know what I mean? And I said it last year with that other guy, and he's 27. Um, you got to want to and have to recognize it in you that things need to change, that you need to adjust and fix the things that are making you do things, lashing out at women, calling them names, being misogynistic.
I
You
think,
have to recognize it.
yeah. Well, when Jared gets out of the house and he sees the opinion of masses, hopefully, hopefully, with the help of his mother, some other reality people that I at least respect,
Mhm.
that he's able to reflect and gain some understanding of why some things he said and did rubbed people the wrong way. He's 25. There's a lot. I've known 25-year-old men that maybe have similar views that were able to mature and grow and gain
Right,
new perspective. I just hope that is the case for him. Will it be? I don't know, but one can only hope. He's
right,
not, doesn't mean he's lost forever, but like you said, he has to want to see these things and want to reflect on these things. And hopefully he, or at least his mom, takes a hard look and maybe helps him along that journey. That's all we can hope for anybody. So good luck, Jared, and whoever's helping him. Won't be
right.
me, of course, but
Absolutely no. So yeah, so this was a knockout comp, HOH. Um, and before this, we do see that Cameron and Red were very upset, but they're okay with it being used because Cameron does get to play again. America tells Izzy that she didn't play and didn't use it. She thinks Jag used it on herself, but Izzy rightly calls that Matt used it on Jag.
yep.
Um, and so we do get this knockout comp. I thought it was good. I feel like at least there's one thing. Jared did play this knockout comp right. He still lost. He still won by somebody losing, meaning he didn't put two people in his alliance up. Listen, we have seen people like we
Hmm.
watched parents put two people in his alliance up last year, I believe.
Right. Yeah, I mean he won the first round and then didn't go back until the end. Like he's
Right,
just lucky that nobody called on him. He
right.
lost. probably.
Right.
Yeah, it is what it is. He got it handed to him. I like the comp. I love, love, love knockout comps. I like the game that they played. I was at home playing along and trying. Me and I had drug my husband along. We were trying to say the picture first. You know what I mean? But I love knockout comps because usually it opens people's eyes to what's happening. Like
Right. And I think that happened for America in this comp.
yeah, because they didn't call. Like she was like, "Why are you calling me again, Izzy?" When there are other people that haven't been called, because she's working with them, and she would rather them win than you, America. That is why she didn't. She
Right.
called us multiple times. So yes, love, love, love knockout comps. It's and they've been traumatic for me, but I love knockout. Who won last year's knockout?
It was the one
No,
the
no, no.
only the one
I'm
it was
sorry,
the split
knockout.
house.
Cookout knockout.
Oh, the cookout
It
knockout
made
wasn't
somebody
it Todd?
mad. Yes, it made somebody mad. Yes, because
Yeah,
he was supposed to let
he was
Audra
supposed to throw it to Tiffany
and
and
Audra
oh
somebody.
no, he was supposed to throw it to Azza
Yes,
and
he did it. He won.
he got mad because Tiffany did something like the alliance did something. It was stupid. Anyway, um
Then the season before that, 22, my first live season, it was Dave Vaughn and Christmas. Dave Vaughn and Christmas. And Dave Vaughn and Bailey were going to be up on that block had not one of them won. We knew that. Dave Vaughn didn't know that. Bailey didn't know that. And of course, Dave Vaughn got it wrong. Christmas won by default, slapped them up on the block. Like these knockout comps traditionally do not, like, they always mess something up for me. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
oh no, no. So the comp was basically a BB Scramble verse comp, where in the Scramble verse we have these couples are together that they weren't together in our reality. So we had Turner and Jasmine, who they had put out the night before that they were going to be on the show. And so we do see that they were doing a lot of the ITMs. They used their actual voices, but they had pictorials of them, pictures of them. Somebody last season won an knockout comp, and I don't even want to say his name. Yeah, we won't say his
We
name.
know. Thanks, no.
Um, so and then it was Rockstar and Brett, who I've met Rockstar, met her at the New York premiere party. She's hilarious. She's very funny. And then Jesse, who was in love with himself in this universe, married himself in that universe.
Yep.
And Mr. Pictorial, Spectacular, I think it is. And then instead of Rachel being married to Brendan, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and Jordan being married to Jeff, Rachel and Jeff are married to each other
Right.
uh, in the Scrabbleverse. So it is a bunch of just questions about these little love letters that they're sending them. And yes, America gets a real rude awakening because she had thought of the alliance, she was closest to Izzy. But we know that the week before, Izzy and them had gotten off of America Corey, and they were targeting basically to basically say that they screwed up it was basically the pressure cooker was a lot to do with it, and the flip vote. And so she does put America up multiple times, and America's like, we're in the same alliance, why are you doing that? And then that woke her up to, okay, I'm done. Like, you guys are running the game, and the fact that you don't trust me, now I don't trust you. Next time I'm putting you on the block. And uh Blue thinks she's so when Jared wins because Izzy loses, Blue thinks she's First Lady HOH. We heard on the feeds.
Mhm.
Um, Cameron thinks him and Jared are good. I'm not sure why you put his showmance on the block.
Right.
Um, Natalie asked, "Did Cameron throw it?"
Yes.
No.
He said he didn't want to win too many. I don't think he said on the episode that
Uh-huh.
he doesn't necessarily want to throw it, but he ain't trying to win either. So if he gets out, it's no big deal to him.
It
Okay,
should be a big deal.
fine. It should, but that's what he said. He wasn't trying to be a heisem.
Your person that you tried to throw out.
It's still in the house. Like your HOH meant nothing. You stood for 14 hours for absolutely no reason. You should try to win, Cameron, but whatever.
Um, so Suri is proud of her son. She cries for him. She talks about how well he's doing, and I'm just like, Suri, he's not doing well. I'm sorry, but you don't know that. And then Jack continues his interrogations, and I'm glad that they showed it really accurately because this is what happened. Um, and I was laughing because people thought that that night when him, Blue, America, who else? Corey
Mm-hmm.
had that full conversation, all three of them. They thought that him and Blue and America were woken up. They were gonna target Sari, Izzy, Felicia. They were gonna target the core four and Jared. And I was like, then they started like, well, maybe we should tell Matt. Well, maybe we should.
And then Jared, I'm not Jared, Jag has a conversation with Suri. He's on this hunt for answers. Why I don't know. Just needs to let it go. But he's on this hunt for answers. He goes to Suri, and Suri's like, I know what I said. Basically, I said A, B, C, and D. If you
Right.
want to pull us all into a room, we can have a meeting, and I'll say it in front of everybody. And that was all Jag needed to slap everything that he previously knew right out of his head. And he was back. Maybe I can really trust Suri. She's not really going to say that if she's not serious. She's, Jag. I'm like, just let him go. Like, just let him go.
Yeah,
Because
that was
we're
it,
getting
it.
to this
That was
point
it for me. That was
again.
it for me.
Yes, after everything America laid out, America laid it out on it. Here, Jag, this is what happened. They're doing exactly to you what they did to Riley. Here it is. And Jag was like, oh, no, 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 no. I, I was just like, it's just a lost cause. If he can't see it now, after what they just did, and the fact that Jared knew, like, there's just no hope that he's going to see anything at all. Just
That
lost.
that for me it was like throw Jag away. I'm sorry. He he's not a good player, and it's unfortunately he's not a good player in another way. He like um in the beginning, Riley's HOH, I felt like Jag had so much potential. He was
Yeah.
literally running the show. He had really good like thought processes, not necessarily good reads, but thought processes, right?
He still has that. He just got horrible reads or something. Like, he, go ahead. I'm sorry. It's like I can't even like Jag socializing and having a good time. I enjoy. I like watching him in conversations and him having fun.
Yes,
So fun, so endearing. But this
yes.
game, I'm just like, oh,
It's
like
like he got there and it's like, I don't know, is it a popularity complex? Like, he just wants to be in the in crowd.
yes, and ignores all the things that says he's
Red
not
flags.
really
It's
in
not
the
the things. Red flags. Red flags. Red
He ignores all of the things that tell him that there's a problem here, just so he can feel good about being with the crew. Yeah, it's
that I think that's what the issue is because even when he saw it in Riley, like, oh, Riley's screwing up. And so he was willing to cut her. Like we saw him having the conversations, but then he was like pushing to keep her at the expense of his game. Like he is in the place that he is in because he insisted on trying to keep Riley. So much so, and at this point, he had already flipped his final two to be Blue. Which, if he had not done what he did for trying to keep Riley that week, and just kept his final two with Blue, voted with the House, right? And Blue is close to Jared. She could have brought him in, right? Because Jared does not trust Jag for a number of reasons. I agree with him that he should not trust Jag. Jag didn't trust Jared, right? He created an alliance, helped Riley create an alliance, and kept Jared out of it. And it might have been mostly because Jared was on the block, but even when he created a larger alliance and put Jared in it, he still didn't trust him.
Right.
So not even a little bit. So it was like if he had scaled it back and didn't do go so hard for one person, it just because it's like if you go hard that one person, but I noticed that you would never go that hard for me. Why am I keeping you? Why?
Yeah,
Why?
I I feel like it's very rare to see people go that hard for an ally. I kind of liked it, kind of worried for him because of it. I don't know what I personally feel got Jack in the position that he's in. I just think that it's just bad gameplay, bad reads, trusting the wrong person, saying too much, telling secrets. But mainly this particular week,
Mhm.
um, he just talked. All he had to do, you were just been saved. You have new life in the game. There's other targets on the block. All he had to do was go sit down and be quiet. That's
Just
it.
go sit
Just go
down.
chill. Go
It
chill and
easy.
show the
Thank
people.
you guys.
Yes,
Whoever saved me. It wasn't me, but thank you, whoever saved me. Thank you, BB God. Thank you.
yep.
I'm still here. Can I have Red? What you having for your birthday? Oh, you're
Right.
on the block. I'm sorry. There's no. At least there's no have-nots, so we can all eat what we want. Let's plan that out. Can I plan you a party, Red? Can I?
He just went about the whole week entirely wrong. He just had to be quiet. In the words
Be
of
quiet.
Felicia, he just wanted to beat his lips all day about stuff that doesn't matter anymore. And then everybody's looking like Jag's acting like he's cool. He's acting like he wants to ride with us. He's acting like he trusts us. But yeah, he's going all the way back to Riley's week and trying to figure things out and question. And that made them want Jag out. But that is all on Jag's shoulders.
All on Jack. All
Yeah.
on Jack.
Okay.
So Jared wants to tells his mom and Izzy he wants to nom Bowie and Red in the backdoor Cameron. Now, what was your thoughts? Did you think that's the way he should have went?
I thought he definitely should have backdoored Cameron. Like,
Yeah.
then they wouldn't be in the position that they were in. But yeah, I don't care who he would have put up. Just backdoor the man. I don't know
Right.
why. It's like he had something with Bowie. He did not want to put Bowie up. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
it was the weirdest thing. Oh, I
Yeah,
should lose. Why? Like Bowie has nothing with you to take you to the end. I don't
yeah,
understand why he insisted on keeping Bowie. And again, I understand. A lot of people don't seem to understand why Bowie is it like annoys people. She annoys people because she does not properly talk game to people in rooms. She does not make proper connections with people in rooms, so it's annoying.
yeah. But the Bowie thing, I was like, but why are you scared to put up Bowie? But it was just more confusing. I mean, this is later. He's considering America, which I think is dumb. Corey's supposed to be one of his numbers, one of his plus ones, one of his little side pieces, who is then connected to America. That's
Not
two
even they're in an alliance together. They're supposed to
numbers.
be in the for real, which is supposed to be the real alliance. But the for real has not looked like the real alliance in weeks at this point.
Yes. Bowie's not in there, right? Put Bowie
No,
behind on the block. Bing, bang, done. Who's going to be mad? The Red Cameron and Bowie? So
it's
I just,
Legends 25 does not include Jared. I do not understand.
yeah, they should have put two other people up and backdoored Cameron. Period, point blank. Then they wouldn't be in the position that they're currently in. Like, go ahead.
Um, then they included a segment about Felicia's mic issues from week 1, which I thought was just dumb. Like, it's like y'all okay, obviously y'all didn't have enough for this episode because y'all were because all that was going on feeds was the house guest talking about Cameron sexually harassing America all week and Jared saying a nasty word about America. So you guys have been cutting feeds and I guess y'all didn't have enough from the feeds this week to put on your show, so you put Felicia's mic issues from week 1. Do better. Do better. AmeriCorey are in the hammock and they do have a conversation of who they're going to put up if they win HOH. And at this point, America's like, I shouldn't have threw pressure cooker. At this point, it's getting me into more trouble. And after watching that knockout comp, Yeah, I'm gonna put some combination of Sari, Izzy, and Felicia on the block. I don't know
Ooh,
what, but that's who's going on the block.
she was
And
cracking me up.
yeah,
Oh my,
Corey was like trying to talk her out of it. That will eventually change. I
yeah.
don't know, but so basically, I should target this. So, um, why do I have basically lays out why Jared should target Americans? Oh. So Cameron and Jared have a conversation. Throws Red under the bus because he's trying to make it so that him and Red, remember, him and Red have a final two. He does not want them both on the block. He wants it to. He's like Red did this and Red did that, and we ain't good. We ain't good. And so he's trying to like get him not to put him on the block. And just from that, I again that would have been his thing to keep Cameron off the block and put somebody else as a pawn.
That's what they should have
That's
done.
extended.
They should
But
have.
but his thing was it either had to be Cameron Red or America, and it just was just dumb.
Right.
Um, because of those, America would have voted for you if you got rid of Cameron Red or Bo Jane.
She
Like it
wants
just
them
didn't.
gone. Like she wants Cam. Or she doesn't like Jared.
Yeah. So it's basically a segment to lay out why I feel like they put that whole thing about AmeriCorey about why so, like she's a targeting Suri and Izzy. I feel like they're protecting Jared in the edit a lot. We saw them do that last season with the person who came in second, where they said crap and then they didn't put it on in the edit because they felt like it's possible that this person could be the winner of the season. And so I feel like that's why we got mic drops from week one. That's why we get AmeriCorey talking about, oh, she might target Sari, Izzy, and Felicia. So Jared should target America because both you and I have already said his reasoning for targeting America is
That's
BS.
stupid.
His reasoning for targeting her is he doesn't like her. He has been told that it's potential she would put up Sari, Izzy, and Felicia. He does not want her to do that. Fine, but he uses the pressure cooker as his reasoning of why he's going to do that.
Makes no sense. But go ahead.
No sense. And so Jared does have a conversation with Red in the HOH, and he does tell him, "Listen, Karen threw you under the bus. Cameron threw you under all the way under the bus." And we don't see the exact conversation, but from what we got on feeds, it was mostly him talking about how Cameron would talk about how much of a misogynist that Red is, and
Pot,
very
pot
funny.
calling, pot calling the kettle black. You know, I was like, really, Red? But I like this move from Jared. I thought it was smart to try to drive a wedge. He did something right.
Yeah,
Try to drive a wedge between those two, and it actually worked.
it did.
And the fear of that, and we'll see what that does later.
So absolutely good gameplay. It's very funny because Red literally was devastated that he's being called a misogynist by another misogynist to another misogynist. And so it was like, oh, how dare you? And you're also supposed to be my final two. And how dare you? And I have to stay away from women. And I was like, all of it is gross, but it worked, right? And so absolutely good gameplay. But he does kind of say America might be the nom, because Corey told him that she threw pressure cooker, and that's going to be his excuse. But Jared ultimately nominates Cameron and Red, which again we both feel like was just not the move this week. And we're going to see why, because during the veto episode, he tells Cameron Red is the target. Red thinks Cameron is the target, and we know that Cameron is the target,
Mm-hmm.
and he is the target for a number of reasons. Can't trust him. Remember, he was in two alliances with him, and he basically outed his entire alliance,
Yes.
and then he put Boo on the block. All fair reasons to target Cameron.
Mm-hmm.
And so Cameron's thing is though. okay, he believes that he's not, because he thinks that him and Jared are good. He believes that he is not the target. But that means his boy Red is the target. And even though he threw him under the bus, it's still that he could get him. He was trying not to get them both on the block. So now he got to get him or Red off the block.
Right.
Um, and we go back to Jag is happy to be in the game, but unhappy with the votes and wants to work with Sari, but still interrogating people putting this target on the block. And there's a reason why this is still ongoing, because there was a point where he did kind of stop this conversation, but it's important for where we go at the end of this episode. Red is upset with his relationship deteriorating with Cam, and we see Sari come in and do what Sari does. She just reassures him like he's her best friend, and she can't stand this guy, and she's his best friend. And don't worry, oh my God, it's your birthday week. We're going to make this the best week ever, and we're going to make your birthday great. And he just, Sari's his person. Sari's his person now, because Cam's not his person. Sari is his person. Anybody sitting there saying Sari is not playing a good game, I don't know what y'all are watching. I don't know what y'all are watching.
It's a little chaotic. It's a little messy, but somehow she gets it to go in her favor. It just keeps working for her.
It
So no
does.
matter messy or not is kind of irrelevant. She's getting the job done at the end of the day.
And I keep saying I don't have a problem with that.
Me
Messy,
either.
chaotic. I said it last season with our winner from last season. Messy, chaotic. I love it. I like watching it. That's why I like watching feeds, because we don't really get that in the edit. And then you're like, oh my God, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And okay, then everything's fine. That it actually worked out for in that person's favor. That is called strategic social prowess,
Yes.
guys. And for you guys to say, like, to me, watching Taylor play this game last season and to replay, although from different positions, to me, just socially watching them play this game and how they're able to still bring people to them that they need, that they can just use as pawns when they need them. Not pawns in the way of being on the block, but of being an end game, of getting them to the end is
Yeah.
a magnificent to watch. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yep.
And so we do see that Jared convinces Cam Red is a target, and so he's just like, okay, he's gonna go after this veto because he gotta save them both. He gotta save them. And he's telling Jared whatever he wants to hear. And their final two chillers are gonna be safe. And then we get this Corey and Jared conversation. Uh, where he gets into an argument about America. And then we find out that they have a final two. Did you know that they had a final two?
Did not. I knew that they had like end game plans, but not that they necessarily had a final two. Not
Right.
at that moment.
And see, they say they have a final two, but both based on what they both ITM or tell the diary room, neither one are standing by this final two. Corey is like number 4 on Jared's list, and Jared might be number 3 or 4 on Corey. So, yeah, no.
Yeah.
And so he does say what Taryn actually did say on his live, one of his live feed update, that he does, Jared, think of Corey as his smarter little brother.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for Corey, he then does not play to that point. And so this is where we see, like, it was a lot of Jared going back and forth with Corey, and Corey realizing, oh, I don't have as much power over Jared that I thought I did. And I'm not sure why he would think in a, like, you have older brothers, like, like when you're the little brother, do you have the power?
No. Yeah. He thought he just had more influence over him, and Jared's just unreasonable. Like, it has to be extra frustrating for Corey just because the reasoning behind it is goofy. Jared, if you're working so closely with Corey, why would you get rid of somebody Corey has that could then you have? It's never going to make sense in Corey's mind unless you really don't have Corey in your endgame plans. Do you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
was goofy reasoning, goofy reasoning, and
And
he
again,
he's
brings up America throwing pressure cooker, like,
it's stupid, and he all it's like he wants to one up Corey constantly,
constantly.
constantly. Yeah,
So he says he needs her to start winning. Okay. So the BB gods answer him. The veto picks. Um, so Jared does pick Felicia. Red picks America. He didn't want America. He wanted somebody from Legend 25. He did not get that. And Cameron got house guest choice and he chose Matt. So the minute that Jared finds out America got picked, he was pissed off. We saw it on feeds. He threatens America. This is when he does say he's going to put her up. He calls her that rude name. Um, he tells him, and so she basically says to Jared, like, why would you think that I threw the pressure cooker? You lasted less than 2 hours, and I lasted 14 hours.
right. Nobody stands there for 14 hours. Like if she wasn't trying to win, do you know? And then I mean,
Um,
yeah, nobody stands there for 14 hours if they're not trying to win. In the end, did she take a deal for herself? Yes. Can
yes.
you blame her? Like I don't blame her. It's like
I wanted her to win that pressure cooker. She had everything in it to win. I am glad she did not win just because how the week ended up playing out because we still would have gotten the twist and it probably would have nullified whatever she was gonna do.
if had
Um,
she done something big, she'd really be in a bad spot.
Hi Sabrina, thank you so
Brenda,
much.
we appreciate that.
Um, yeah, I think it would have nullified it and then she would be in trouble.
It would have been
She would
over.
have had to win HOH back to back, I think. Yeah.
Mhm. And they would have knocked her out right away. Like there would
And
have
it would have knocked her out. Yeah.
yeah.
So we do see the veto is a tiny veto, which last year it was a tiny HOH, year before it was a tiny veto. What do you think about it being a veto versus HOH?
Say that I don't like the comp at all.
Okay.
I think it's goofy, it's stupid. And I think every year I've been mad about who Alyssa won it for 23.
That was
That
devastating.
terrible, devastating.
Devastating.
Forced career on
Devastating.
the block.
Yes.
Turner won it and put
Yes.
up Taylor and
Tim and
Brittany.
Brittany.
And now you're like,
Devastating.
no, I don't want the tiny veto. Keep it out. Nobody wins the tiny veto that I want to win the tiny veto.
Yeah.
No, I
True.
hate it. It's a stupid. I mean, I guess it's nice for people who aren't as athletic, who can have a steady hand. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I like that it's switched up. I'm just not really a big fan of this. It's boring to watch, like paint
Yeah.
dry.
I'm sure. I think if you're in person, it actually probably is very fun to watch.
Maybe.
Because they were sitting in the living room like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. But
It was
yeah,
hilarious though when Cam won and then and Cam won. There was
um,
silence.
dead silence, dead silence.
Aw.
So Cam wins it, and America walks into her bedroom and finds Felicia, Mimi, and Sari counting votes, and it sounds like they're counting votes against her because as soon as she walks in, they get quiet as hell,
Yeah.
and she's like, okay, because it's like, oh, America just go like Felicia's like, I don't care who it is, America could go sit up against Red as long as it ain't me.
Right.
And so basically, America played this really well. She was like to Corey, like, what is going on? And she goes right up to Jared, and Jared's in the HOH with Blue, and they discuss not putting her up. And he's like, you're throwing comps, and I need people who can play. And she's like, I did not throw a 14-hour
Right.
comp.
Yes.
Um, And she's like, and they didn't show the entire conversation, but she cried. She was insistent. She's like, I've gone and gone after every comp that has been here,
Right.
and I just have not won them.
I
And
she
good.
you're she did a great job. She did a really really good job in that conversation. And I think you just have to learn how to, which annoys my soul. I guess this would be the case for everybody, but you have to learn how to speak to whomever the HOH is at the time.
Yes.
Everybody's going
Yeah.
to need something different. So she did a really, really good job. And I think America has so much potential. She just has no allies. She just has no numbers. Or
Yeah.
she's telling what her allies told her, or they're telling what she told. Like, it just is not working out for her. I
Yeah.
really, really hope that something happens and she could get new life in the game because I enjoy her. I like her personality. I think she's funny. I think she's cute. I think she's spicy. Like, I like everything about America.
I
And she's
love
not
America.
about the BS. Yeah, she's not about the BS. And I think she would hold her own. So I'm really, really, really hoping that she gets some sort of new life in this game and a chance to
Yeah.
play. So
So this is my thing about America. Love her personality. She's a messy player. I love it.
yeah, she
I
talks
love
too much. Be
I
cool, America.
I love it. I love how messy she is. The only problem is she does trust the wrong people.
Yeah.
She trusts people too much, but it's unfortunate because she was playing a rat game, right? And we saw a little bit of that with Brittany and Michael last
Michael.
season. Yeah, that they were like Brittany was playing the rat game a little bit. Michael, same thing. Um, if you have a number one or number two, however you want to say it, that works because you always have that person as your backup, right? To keep you in the game. Unfortunately for her, she has Corey, who is a 21-year-old who who's playing a rat game that includes throwing her under the bus every 2 seconds, and even though she's his showmance. And Taryn does also point out on his live feed update that, which I was like, makes absolute sense, and I think we discussed it before in here, that it's obvious that Corey did not come in here to showmance. Never
Yeah.
thought about it in his head.
Right.
He probably came in thinking he was coming in as the nerdy little kid to win the show. But there's the 27-year-old America who seems to like him, or at least likes cuddling with him, and so he's showmancy. He does not know how to play this game as a showmancer, and so
He,
he he can't like throw his strategy out the window for some reason and play the game he's been laid out basically.
he needs to stop disparaging America. I do not understand the logic. Everybody sees what y'all are. Everybody's
Right.
aware. Stop disparaging America and bring America in. Start talking like me and America. We are two numbers for you. Yes, you cannot go deep in the game with the showman. So that's goofy. But right now, when we're at 12, we're going to be at two people as a voting block is a strong thing. Bring her in with you, include her in these game talks. That's what was the showman's last season, Kyle and Alyssa. That was Kyle's problem. He should have not disparaged Alyssa. He should have brought Alyssa in. Then he wouldn't be faced with having his alliance wanting him to backdoor her. Like, but he should have brought her in. Same thing with Corey. He should have brought her in. He should have never did this. Oh, let me talk bad about her and say everything she says and rat her out. Like, it's idiotic because then people have that perception of America and they don't want to work with her. He should have
Right.
brought her in. So I hope he can recognize that that wasn't such a good idea after this whole Jared debacle and start praising her and actually including her in
Right.
everything.
Like you lose America, you lose me. Like, and so what Taryn realized, and if you watch the feeds, you kind of got it. It doesn't seem like Corey really like either he just watched the edited episodes and just like heard from people stuff that happened.
24.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think so too.
because he didn't like he literally is almost line for line playing Kyle and Alyssa out with her in America,
Makes no
and he didn't learn from it.
sense.
Because Sharon is like, didn't he learn from last year? Like, you can't do this. And no, he didn't learn because again, you have people who get the edited show and don't like
Know
for
all that.
yeah,
Yeah,
for the first how many episodes when they were showing Colin and Alyssa as a showmans, most of those he was throwing her under the bus. He like to his alliance, like he couldn't trust her. He did a whole thing in the HOH room where he's telling people he can't trust her. I think there was one point where it was the point where Michael was HOH and he went she went up and said she couldn't trust Monty and to put Monty on the block and send him out, and he was like, I can't play this game with Alyssa. The entire almost the entirety of his time with Alyssa, Kyle, which fine, he's playing a selfish game, but he wanted to keep Alyssa in the game, but he also wanted to play a selfish game.
yeah.
And it doesn't work that way.
Up until Taylor's HOH,
Yeah.
he acted like he was fine with her going when he really wasn't. Like, or developed, he realized he really wasn't and didn't want her to go. But yeah,
Right. So yeah, it was just anyway. I think, like you said, some of this stuff has been a wake up call to America, particularly, and Corey, in that we've seen on feeds she's serious. She's going to put Suri and Izzy up, and he's basically like, just blindside me and don't tell me.
mhm.
And I mean, fair, like,
He
and
will
so
pay for it no matter what. But
yeah, because he's like, at this point he's realizing more and more he doesn't have them as much as he thought he did anymore, because he thought he was really good with Izzy, he thought he was really good with Jared, but he can't necessarily trust them, and I think she realizes now she can't trust Jag. She can't trust Matt. I hope she understands she can't trust Matt. She doesn't necessarily really understand she can't trust Blue because, um, okay, so we're gonna go through this, but there was the segment of Red and Cameron breaking up, which I can't even describe it to you. You literally have, if you go on Twitter, you have to literally watch this breakup scene. It's undescribable here, so I'm gonna move on. But then we have the Legends 25 meeting, Shell meeting. They want Jag on the block. It's not fair. Cameron's
Blue,
HOH. Blah 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 blah
Blue did him dirty.
blah. But
I
that's not even this meeting yet.
oh
That's
sorry
the next meeting.
sorry. I'm a meeting ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
um, and we do see that after this, Blue does start pushing. Okay, well, no, like, you can't put Jag up to Jared because she thinks she's First Lady HOH. You have to put America up, and she starts all those conversations they had at the beginning of the week. So on feeds, we don't see it in the edit. She's basically throwing America now under the bus with what she said in those meetings. So it's like, this is why people were like, they woke up, they know they're going to. No, they're not. No, they're
Yeah,
not, because nobody wants to slip their position. Jag made not a final two, but an alliance with just Saria and Matt and did a whole handshake with them. And Blue is like, okay, Jared, it's me and you and nobody else. I want to keep Jag, but if he got to go, he got to go. But also, why don't you put up America? It's not like I need her if Jag goes. Why don't you?
Blue, I was just like, you dummy, because she could have kept America on her side. She could have kept Jag on her side and possibly even Matt. That's a whole squad that is young, capable, and she could have rocked with on the side. With, like, she could have been in on two sides. Two sides.
Yeah,
Cerise's side, Jag,
yeah.
Jared, Matt, America, that she wouldn't get hit. But no, she got to
And
spill it. These people
she should
cannot
have been
talk.
pushing Chloe Jane.
Yes,
Chloe Jane.
who cares about Bowie?
Chloe Jane.
Yes, nobody cares about Bowie. It's not going to impact your game in any way, shape, or form. That's why I don't understand half the. I just be like, y'all, whatever, y'all. Whatever, because I don't get it.
It was so ridiculous. So Sari at this point sits down with a few of them, and she's like, Jag got. Oh, she sat down with Jared, and she's like, Jag got to go. He chats too much. Matt might feel away though because that means he wasted his power, and we do hear from Matt that he does feel like then he might have wasted the power. Even
Right.
America said, I don't know why anybody would have saved Jag because like that was a waste of. It was just.
Or like Mimi said to Matt, why it had to be Jag because why would you use your power on somebody else when you could have used it the next week for yourself? Matt's like, yeah, it was it, Mimi.
And so they have now a seven deadly sins meeting, and basically, Jag is because now, I don't know if we've discussed this. Serene and Matt, when they did this alliance with just them and Jag and the handshake, they convinced Jag. Remember, a couple of episodes ago, I said Blue and America were in tears that Jag was going.
Mm-hmm.
But Sri and Matt have convinced Jag that America and Corey were the ones that flipped the vote on him. Now, we all know from watching feeds that the entire time he never thought he had Corey, and that they always said that they were going to blame the vote on America and Corey anyway,
Mm-hmm.
because they were going to get Jared to vote Blue out. And he said, no, you have to include America and Corey. And they said, no, we can't trust them. We're not going to do that. And if you tell them, we will vote you out.
Mm-hmm.
And then he still got voted out unanimously. And he somehow really believes them that America and Corey were the issue here. Now, on top of that, Corey and America do find out that Jag feels this way. Have a conversation with him. This is on feeds. A lot of this stuff was edited out. Have a conversation with him. Corey does say to him, listen, you want to be upset, whatever. Because, again, this is part of his interrogation. He's like, I will tell you, I was not one to keep you last week. But you knew that. I will keep you going forward. I have no problem working with you. But America has been trying to keep you the entire time.
Right.
Now, Matt, we have not discussed Matt. Matt's another misogynist.
Yeah.
Matt's out here quoting Andrew Tate, of all people. If you don't know him, look him up and then be grossed. He's been calling America all sorts of bitches. He hates the girl because somehow she's the reason that Riley went out, and everything he does is about Riley at this point. He wanted to name his Jag Siri alliance Riley's Promise.
Oh, like, ugh. I mean, I don't mind Riley, but like the obsession is weird. She's been gone for a couple weeks now. We can pick on the name.
Get over it.
Yeah.
And so, but this is the reason why he's working with Siri. Riley told him to work with Siri. And so he is like on this thing. America's got to go. He's going to put America on the block, blah, blah, blah. So he's like been throwing her under the bus the entire week. And so he does throw her under the bus to Jag. Like, no, it was America and Corey were the ones that were trying to flip the vote on you. And he's like, well, Corey said it wasn't really America. And it was him. And he's like, no, that's not true. Because he wants to keep Corey, because he needs Corey, but
Right.
he doesn't want America. And so Jag, none of the red flags are flying out for him. This is when I was just like, I'm done with you. And so here in this 7 Deadly Sins meeting, he's basically like, well, I'm okay with you sending America home. And then your ass is going to go right home after her, Jag. What the hell are you thinking?
Yeah, but the funniest thing about this meeting was funny, because when Blue had the nerve to part her lips and suggest that Jag be a pawn, Like I feel like Three could not contain her laughter over there. Like you, like I cannot believe she said that. I do not know what this girl is thinking. She should be preserving Jag, America, and Corey for herself, for the future, for as long as possible. But instead, she's throwing them all up on the block. So I thought that that was comical because as soon as Blue said it, they, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Jag's like, wait, and eventually realized he wasn't going to stop that train and just agreed because it was going to happen regardless, right? He acted like, okay, I'll do it for the numbers, but he didn't really want to. Funniest thing I've ever seen. Do not know what Blue's freaking thinking, but I digress.
So Jared just say to her, don't ever volunteer me for the block.
Right, because what are you doing?
Like this is your closest ally and your friend, and you like for real.
Natalie,
Um,
I think that's of
Natalie
his
said,
own doing.
who is letting Matt listen again? If he's on social media,
He,
Andrew Tate has been just around because you, unless you are a disciple of Andrew Tate, how are you quoting him on feeds?
yeah,
I don't know who Andrew Tate is, and I couldn't tell you one jack shit about what he's actually spouted off in ideology at all.
never. I agree. Yeah, Natalie, I think that's all his own doing.
Yeah. The not that his mama is that great, but yeah, no. And again, I'm not going to sit here and misogynistically blame his mother for his behaviors. There's no reason for him to be consistently calling America a bitch and then plotting. I've already told you guys that Cameron has been sexually harassing America on feeds, plotting to make it so that they are the first two to jury to have Corey here in the house worried about America. And then even who was it? Somebody pointed out that because I don't even like things that you have not seen. Cameron confronted Corey about cuddling with America, confronted America about cuddling with Corey. Keep insinuating that she needs to hold on till they get to the jury house. And so someone pointed out that he was staring at her and Corey like a couple nights ago or last night or whatever it was, and that she was not paying him any attention. She was not meeting his eyes. And Siri said, yeah, America should be worried. I agree. So why is nobody doing anything about this?
Well, hopefully he goes home next time. I hope that if America is seriously uncomfortable, she needs to just talk to production. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
there's some checks and balances or something that they can do that doesn't interrupt the game. I just hope she feels okay. She needs to speak to somebody, speak to the professionals, speak to the mental health people. Keep beating your horn, girl. Hopefully he's. I pray this week.
I pray he's not in jury. I pray every day. That's it. That's all I can do. Um, Jared does eventually nominate. I do think right before the veto ceremony, Blue did try to push America on the block again, threw her under the bus again. And but ultimately, Jared does put Jag as a replacement nom for Cam on the block against Red. And so we are at a Jag versus Red conversation. In tonight's live eviction. So if you have not wanted spoilers to this point, because nothing that most of this has been context. Nothing has been spoiled, but we are about to talk spoilers about tonight's live eviction. So you can exit now or keep watching. And so, go ahead. What do you have for tonight, Janelle?
They have done entirely too much this week. So Red has gotten himself in a predicament. They were willing to keep Red, vote out Jag because Red and Cameron had separated. Bromance was over, no more final two, not even speaking to each other. So they're like, oh, you don't gotta worry about Red. He ain't gonna link up with Cameron, blah, 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 blah. all of that. Perfect, perfect. Well, not perfect. They're pissed. They're like, what? Oh, Red gotta go. We gotta get him out of here. We cannot have Red and Cameron linking back up. He got to go. So they have decided now that Red is the one to go, and they have these big elaborate plans of how they're going to split the votes and blame it on certain people just to keep Cameron off of their back. It is all idiotic to me. I don't like any of it. They wanted to blame Corey in America. Now, since that has switched from Corey in America to blaming Mimi and Felicia on the vote.
Right. Which it was, I think they were always going to blame Felicia because Corey had kind of executed, Corey got back in the game and he kind of executed a plan that Sari was like, I'll take that plan and run with it, to throw Felicia under the block, under the bus, because Felicia a couple weeks ago basically was like she didn't trust Sari. She wanted to start a final two with Jared. Like if she had just went to Mimi, I think she would have been okay on that because I don't think Mimi would have added it to Sari. But she went to Jared, and I did say to somebody, Felicia has a bit of misogynistic tendencies herself. I don't like quite the way she talked about Kirsten a lot. um Blue, even America. In fact, the only person who has been standing up for America with this Cameron situation on feeds, other than Corey, has been Mimi. Even Izzy has said some things that I did not agree with, and I like Izzy, but I feel like her take was rude, about how Bowie Jane too had the nerve to beat her lips about America and Cameron. And this is another reason why her ass should have been on the block, in my opinion. And so, it was just, it was gross behavior all around. So I feel like she doesn't have daughters, as far as somebody has told me, or told us. I think she does have boys, and I think maybe the tendency to be like, oh, I can easier work with boys than a girl, kind of led her to how she treats some of these younger women, and why she probably was like, you know what? I'll rather trust my final two to Jared, even though I keep saying I want women to the end. I want women plus Jared to the end, instead of doing a final two with the Mimi, and keeping your final two with Siri. So I just it was odd behavior, and I think it basically landed her in hot water, and so now she's off Siri. Siri's off her basically.
I think that it's also like this week, even today, she keeps going into rooms and saying things. Like she asked
Yeah,
Red today if he had a cupcake on his nightstand. She's like, "Are you going to eat that
take
cupcake
it
when you
home.
get home? Take it home?
Take it home. Take it
What?
home.
What are you doing?" And she said she did something else today too, like that, where she's just, I think, not being cognizant, not paying attention to her surroundings, saying whatever she wants in rooms with a lot of people, not paying attention to who's in rooms. I don't know if it's just she doesn't care. I think she's just not paying attention. That's it. She's not paying attention. And because she's not paying attention, she's slipping up.
Yeah.
So she's in hot water. But I don't like this whole elaborate plan, all to protect themselves from camp. Like, it's stupid, in my opinion. Don't, like, why would you burn Mimi? If you want to get rid of Felicia, I understand the problems that, or the frustrations they're having with Felicia. But
Right.
why would you burn Mimi at this point? She hasn't done anything. Why would you piss her off?
Yeah.
She's been really loyal to them. It has nothing outside of them. I do not get it.
But again, like you said earlier, sometimes people need these things to wake them up, and I feel like,
Mimi
she
needs.
yeah, I think this is what Mimi needs. If she does get blamed for this vote, because I think Mimi, unlike Jag, would take this as, oh shit, I don't really got these people. Kind of like what Corey happened with Corey in America,
Yeah.
where they're like, oh shit, we don't really have these people. We can't really trust these people. And then like take that in, and
And
we know
you.
Mimi will keep it up. She will keep it in, but she will use it. And
Yeah.
so I think that's what Mimi needs to know, that she cannot fully trust these people, because Jag is seeing this play out in his face, that they were trying to blame America and Corey again for a vote. Now they're blaming Felicia and Mimi. Dude, why do you already got in your head that Sari is and Izzy and maybe Felicia are running this game? Why in your head are you not saying, wait, they are throwing everybody else under the block for this vote, and I know for a fact that they're the ones running this vote? Shouldn't it, in my
Well,
head?
hopefully, if that happens tonight and that she's blamed, she's gonna be like,
Mhm.
wait, because I start flapping. Y'all
Oh
did
yeah.
this. Y'all did this to Corey in America. Y'all doing
Yep.
this to me. Like, I hope that that clicks in her brain. She seems smart enough to pick up on that. Smart enough to pick up on it and then do something. It as in create some other strong allies that will have her back.
Yeah.
Corey America tried with her. I
Yeah.
honestly think that Mimi just wants to rock with us.
Yes.
Just,
I
she just
and fair and fair. I
fine,
understand it. Fair.
but she still needs to have. I want her to have something else for herself. You can
Right.
keep rocking with that, but also
Right.
have something else on for you on the side. And yes,
Right.
Natalie, I did see Felicia singing in her sleep. I've never seen anything like that in my entire life. I, I need a new room. I need a new bedroom. If you want to be singing, snoring is bad enough, and I don't even have a fan to drown you out. But I'm waking. I can't believe they let that happen, and like they let that go on. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I think that might be the wake up call that she needs. I personally feel like she should put Matt, and who else would I put on the block?
Mimi, I can't see her putting that. I don't know what Mimi would do. She'd
She
probably
needs to put
go with
Matt.
she fine, but I think that she's gonna go with somebody that Serene everybody's gonna agree on, basically, like a Bowie and a Red or something stupid that ain't gonna help her in any way, shape, or form.
She should not put Bowie on the block at all.
It's a waste of
She
time.
she's literally in an alliance with her. That doesn't make any sense.
Right, but
Um,
we'll see what they're gonna get her. I can't wait to see who wins tonight. Like I'm just like
yeah.
seething for this episode. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
But I think if she frees up Matt and not, I would put Matt and maybe Jag. Those are the two she doesn't have anything with.
We'll see.
Really, really. They talk the least amount of game with her, and she literally can use that excuse.
Is she in but she's in an alliance with them, isn't she?
They literally talk the least amount of game with her.
True, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
And she has just like Cerise, she's like in one of the spots where she has like so many alliances. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Hmm.
So it's like you're basically, and either way you snuff it, you're targeting one of your alliances.
Yeah. I wish Mimi would cam talk so I know what she's
Yeah.
saying. There's not enough cam talk in this cast for me. Like I need more of it. I'm
She
praying.
used to, when she felt wavy, she used to like spout out, and now we're not getting that as she's gotten stronger and more strategic in the game. And I agree with you. I feel like I need more cam talk to find out really what's going through her head. She does talk a lot in feeds, and I think we have a good idea of where she is, but again, I think she does need a wake up call that she can't she understands she can't trust these people. But yeah, I think that's it. I do wish she would win tonight, maybe, and like, Cameron got to go,
I don't know what she would do or what she's thinking. So we'll see.
but America probably winning would be like
I
fun.
need her to do something. I don't know. I fear for her because she doesn't have. I hope she uses it to build a side,
Yeah,
a side that's not a Suri minion. Love
yeah,
Suri. Want to see her continue to do well, but we need some sort of opposition. And there's other people that I enjoy also, like
yeah,
America. So I'd like to see her win and actually do something. I hope that she would. We'll
yeah.
see.
The only time that we all know that the only time that Suri goes home is if Suri is on the block with Jared.
Yeah, unless people wake up, which I
And
doubt.
that's that, and people literally have to wake up. Like literally, the only person right now, there's only two people who would do that, who would know to do that, which is Izzy and Blue, and both of them don't. I mean, it doesn't sound like Blue gets that.
Mhm.
Um, and Izzy, on the other hand, gets it, but she does not want to get rid of either of them because she'll feel lonely in the house and she wants to take them to the end. But she, instead of like you're saying, Mimi needs to do, like give herself a piece to go to the end with, like kind of what we saw happen at this point in the game last season with the eventual winner of the game. She, at this point in the season, was like, okay, I could go to the end with the people I've been working with since day one,
Mhm.
or I can pull in a couple of other people to get myself to the end just in case.
Yeah, she's
Um,
making
and it
multiple
doesn't
plans.
have to be pronounced.
Right, right, right.
And so that is what those two sets of people need to do. Izzy is not doing it.
I think Blue's proximity to Jared and in turn his crew is working for her. I think
Right.
it's going to work for her better than them other big mouths that they can't keep, that can't hold water. So I don't know. I don't think Blue should necessarily go for them yet
No,
because
not yet.
getting her, yeah, it's getting her to where she needs to be. I don't know what she gonna do whatever Jared tells her to do. I feel like
Hmm.
some
Yeah.
stupid nom or noms that Suri wants.
But I don't see with, if she goes on to the end with Suri and Jared, she's not winning. I mean, most people, if they go to the end with Suri and Jared, they're not winning. Unless Suri is number three.
Yeah, I do not think Jared is a shoe in. I think that if he gets to the end with the right person, he could lose. But that's so far away. I'm
Yeah.
just like, I don't want to say hoping. That's not nice. But if he continues playing how he is and continues speaking to people the way he does,
Hmm.
that could be
Hmm.
frustrating to people. I don't know, especially as the game gets longer and more stressful, and
Yeah.
they're worn down and tired.
There are a lot of
I,
days. This is what, day 30 something, and
yes,
we've 70 something more days left,
yes.
or
So
60 something more days.
I don't know how buttoned up Jared. Because look at Serene be like freaking out. Like I don't know how buttoned up Jared is going to be able to keep it. And I think that his personality, the things he says, could rub people the wrong way in the sense that they do not want to vote for him, or they're going to have to vote for him against somebody that. That's what I really think, that somebody could sitting next to Jared could win because of his
Yeah.
attitude. Because
I
I
can
don't know
absolutely
what
see
he.
Rebecca not voting for him regardless.
Yes. What kind of speech is Jared going to give? How
Yeah.
is Jared going to answer these questions? I try to be nice. I have little to no faith in any of those abilities in his regard.
True.
What is he going to say? What is he going to say that he stood on his own and did and executed? I
True.
mean, we're only a month in. We'll see, but okay.
So tonight, because Red had started pulling closer to Cameron, it is looking like Cameron Jag will stay, Red will go, but feeds have been off. They could have flip flopped it like twice already. We gonna see, we're gonna see, but like Janelle said, this convoluted plan to keep them with extra votes, and I think somebody in the executive producer team said all these unanimous votes, they can't have them no more. Somebody tell Sarid that they gotta split the votes. They gotta split the votes. That's my personal
Yeah.
opinion.
So from my understanding, Red's the target. The last we left off, voting Jag out because they think that's what's happening is Felicia, Bowie, Mimi, and Cameron. Those four think that the House is voting out Jag when that's not the case from our understanding. So that leaves America, Corey, Blue, Izzy, Sari, and Matt to actually vote Red out of the House and blindside those other four.
Mm-hmm.
So crazy, and they're doing that to try to hide from Cameron. I do
Mm-hmm.
not get it, but whatever. Just He's gonna win, or y'all got everybody against him. If he wins, he wins, and then you just plan against it. Like this whole elaborate plan and potentially burning allies is insane to me. But
And it
whatever.
only takes at this point two people to flip. If America and Corey realize that they can't keep Jag because he's not good for their game, and they
There.
flip, he's gone.
Hmm.
And even Jag said this is a little too close for him, but that is where we are. And that's because your friend Blue put your ass up on the block.
Yes,
Um,
I'm excited to go watch this.
so yeah, I'm excited. We're gonna see what it's gonna do. I'm excited. I'll probably be up late tonight to see who the HOH with. So again, Janelle, let everybody know where they can find you.
I'm just Janelle Michaud on everything. I'm on Twitter, mostly tweeting about TV, Big Brother, what's happening on there. Covering some exit press for Silent Podcast. I hop on with them periodically to talk Big Brother. Hopefully this week I'll be talking to Red. It looks like I have no idea what to talk to him about. But yeah, find me everywhere. Janelle Michaud.
Yes, and as always, you can follow me at Entertainment in Color on Twitter, Facebook, all the stuff. And right now, I'm just like sharing information. A lot of reality TV is coming out in the next few weeks. I think next week is which show is next week? I'm not sure what I'll be covering because there's a lot of stuff coming out in this month. Um, but I might cover Real Housewives of New York. I watched like some of the intro videos in the first episode, and I was actually pretty excited to see how this plays out. I really like the reboot, so I might cover that. Love is Blind comes out on the 22nd, which I really am kind of excited to see. It's Houston, so I hope we get a lot more people of color in this season. And then I will be back to cover Golden Bachelor on here. I think that starts the same week as well. And then I will be covering Bachelor in Paradise over on Reality Realness, Three S's with Chantel Francis. So that's just September, guys. Like, and so I'm trying to convince Janelle to cover Love Island Games with me. Because she's like, I don't want to do these romantic shows, but it's going to be a game show and it's going to be pre-taped. So
When does it start?
November 3rd, I think it is.
Okay, so
On
Big Brother will be over almost.
Yeah, so Big Brother will be almost over, so we can do that. But we'll see. I want to kind of know what the format is, and then maybe I can entice Janelle to cover it with me. But we will
I've
see.
never watched anything Love Island, so I will not know these people. I will have zero history, so you
Yeah,
have such eyeballs.
I have all the history, unfortunately. My memory is long. So yes, make sure you follow us. Make sure you like and subscribe to this YouTube video and channel, and we will see you guys probably, hopefully, next time. Thank you guys for joining.
Thank you,
Bye.
everybody, for participating in our chat. We appreciate all of you.
Yes, absolutely.